Brother. 4 hours of WWE Super Showdown 2019 review from Jeddah. God help me. Was the show decent? I guess. On paper, it looked great. Matches were good, set up, and, well, not build-up wise, but on paper, it looked like a good match card. If you haven't seen some of these matches done 50 million times over again. One being Triple H and Randy Orton. The other being Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler, which by far was the worst match on the entire card, may I add. I'll get into that one when I get to that point. You seen two old geezers have the match of the night, really, to be honest with you, and the ending was absolute shit. Because it was completely botched. Goldberg and The Undertaker. Which I thought was fucking unbelievable, and the nostalgia to it was super cool. But the ending just displayed how old these two guys are, and that they don't really have it in them anymore to provide a very good matchup without any mishaps or mistakes. And these weren't small mishaps that you can't hardly notice. They were huge mishaps, which Undertaker at the end of that match was very pissed off. If you looked into his eyes, you could see he was pretty ticked about the ending to the match. I don't think Goldberg was very happy with it either. But you couldn't see what his reaction on his face was outside of selling that he lost the match, and that was pretty much it. But that's pretty much all on the whole overall. Let's go into each and every individual matchup here that happened tonight. I'll give you my little feedback on those matches. Which matches I thought were good, which matches were shit. Most of these matches were shit. There's no doubt about it. A 50-man battle royal that meant absolutely nothing. Won by a guy by the name of Mansoor, who is a Saudi Arabian native, and he won in his home country. Good for him. Good for him. Was he good in the ring? Absolutely. He looked pretty damn good. Never heard of the fucking guy until just now. But he had a really good match for the ending of the matchup. But did they really do anything? No. Probably won't even hear from this guy ever again. And if you do, he probably will just have a small bit of stretch where he's used well and then completely forgotten about. You know, like Braun Strowman. Soon or later, Lars Sullivan, which I'll get into on that match. I thought that was a fucking joke and a half. And so on and so forth. So let's get into it. First match on the card, we got a Universal title match between Seth Rollins and Baron Corbin. I got one question. Why the fuck is this the first match on the card? This is not a match that should be opening the show. But apparently it is. I kind of figured it'd be the match close to the Goldberg-Undertaker match. We didn't get that. Alright, fine by me. You'd think later on in the show, Brock Lesnar would have cashed in on fucking Kofi Kingston, because at this point in time, Seth Rollins actually wins the match, beating Baron Corbin by a roll-up pin, which is old-fashioned, hasn't been used that very often in WWE these days. And for him to get that kind of win, I thought that was pretty good. It also laid out another matchup, which later on is announced that at Stomping Ground, the Universal title will be on the line with Baron Corbin versus Seth Rollins for the WWE Universal Championship. God help us all, because this matchup was okay on account of Seth Rollins' involvement in this match. Baron Corbin has no fucking charisma. His character is over the top, retarded, and just plain stupid. Dressed the way he is dressed, he doesn't even look like he's in in-ring gear. He looks like he's ready to go to a staff meeting for a creative decision making on the show, and he probably couldn't even do a good job doing that. And quite frankly, this matchup was thanks to Seth Rollins. Now, one thing I will point out, and they paid very close attention to detail here, that I actually did appreciate on WWE Creative's part. They wrapped up Seth Rollins with tape around his ribs. Simply because on Monday Night Raw, he got banged up to shit and then was sent to a hospital. Now, this whole situation with Seth Rollins walking away still the Universal Champion and avoiding from being cashed in on by Brock Lesnar, thanks to Paul Heyman slipping and falling on his face, and all of a sudden, Brock Lesnar's just staring at Paul Heyman for no fucking apparent reason, distracted by Paul Heyman falling on his face as if he should give a shit. He's about to cash in on the Universal Champion and become the Universal Champion for the, I believe, third time in his career. And, or maybe second time. I don't fucking know. Who really gives a shit? He's about to cash in on him, and he's worried about Paul Heyman falling down, which gives the moment of time for Seth Rollins to recover, kick the shit out of fucking Brock Lesnar with a low blow, then hit him several chair shots to get revenge what happened to him on Raw. On this event, Brock Lesnar left the arena with a lot of bumps and bruises all over his body and some cuts on his back. He was fucked up to shit, and he also got a curb stomp right through the briefcase, so he couldn't cash in. Folks, I'm going to come out and say this right now. The first half of cash-in supposedly supposed to happen on Monday Night Raw. This was meant to be a boost ratings grabber. I don't know if it worked or it didn't, and if it didn't, who really gives a shit at this point? I was trying to watch this show to see if maybe WWE would try something different and have a first ever Universal Championship match that was meaningful, because they've had the last couple of weeks where they had the Universal title on the line, and it was worthless to have the match to begin with for a ratings grabber when it wasn't even advertised. That matchup, if they were to have it with Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins, was something that was advertised on media leading up to this Monday Night Raw episode, which would have led us to see Brock Lesnar in action on Monday Night Raw competing for the Universal Championship, and they don't go about doing this. Why? Because I believe this is full-heartedly Vince McMahon's doing to punish Brock Lesnar from some altercations that these two actually had backstage a couple of months ago, based on Brock Lesnar's frustrations on creative his own self. And this guy is getting paid millions of dollars to stand in the middle of the ring and bounce around like a fucking idiot. And I think that had something to do with Seth Rollins being able to win the Universal title from Brock Lesnar and also being the opener to the show. So I think that had something to do with it. I think that's what the whole beef between Brock Lesnar and Vince McMahon was. So I think at this point, Brock Lesnar is being punished for fighting with the boss on creative decision-making based on his altercation with Vince. So I think that's what's happening here. And I truly believe at the end of this whole story with the briefcase on Brock Lesnar is going to try to cash in, and he's going to fail. We already are seeing Brock Lesnar's strategy be completely stupid and make absolutely no sense. I'm coming to the conclusion that Brock Lesnar is going to fail a cash-in, and he ain't going to become Universal Champion. He's going to become the ultimate joke. Or they're going to have Brock Lesnar cash in on Kofi Kingston to win the WWE Championship, show up on SmackDown for a while so that they can get him to be presented on the SmackDown brand for Fox Sports. Or they may even go a step further than that and create a unification title match at SummerSlam between Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar, leaving Brock Lesnar winning both titles, which would be a crying shame to the WWE and to the WWE fans. Gotta help us off if that happens. Anyway, matchup itself was a 3.5 out of 5 stars, thanks to Seth Rollins. Nothing else. IC title championship, the IC championship match, the Intercontinental Championship, whatever way you want to put it, was defended by Finn Balor as the Demon against Andrade Cien. I am not going to just call him Andrade. I'm going to call him by his full name. And this match was a solid second matchup to the show. I actually was very satisfied with what they went about doing in this matchup. Of course, it was very predictable. Finn Balor playing the Demon, he retained his title. This match, I give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars to as well. Shane McMahon versus Roman Reigns. This matchup was something I was asking for. Shane McMahon being a cheater, cheating his way to win, being a heel, having dirty tactics, and being able to defeat Roman Reigns. Everybody was saying, oh, Roman Reigns is going to be the one to beat Shane McMahon and get another win under his old belt and then beat Drew McIntyre at Stomping Ground for a second time. I don't believe that's going to happen. I believe Shane McMahon, now that he won, Drew McIntyre is going to get a win himself, and he's going to defeat Roman Reigns. I think this is leading to Roman Reigns kind of falling out of the picture, and then at some point later on during the year, gaining some wins back under his belt, and then eventually becoming a Universal Champion at some point. God help us. I would like to see him do that, becoming a heel. That's what I hope for. I hope that he turns on Seth Rollins and becomes a heel. That I would be fine with. And do like a Rock type version of it. Have him acting as if he's not going to join. He's by himself, and then all of a sudden Vince McMahon comes out and screws Seth Rollins and gives Roman Reigns a handshake, and they go ahead and they become good old buddies. And somehow make sense of it before that actually happens. Like some kind of building block towards Roman Reigns to why he's shaking hands with Vince McMahon. That I kind of would, if they go that route, that I hope they instill going into that type of matchup with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins if they turn Roman Reigns heel. But highly doubt that'll happen, so there you go. Nothing to worry there of any kind of illogical booking by WWE in that situation. But Shane McMahon does win this match by a screw job finish thanks to the referee being blinded after getting hit in the face by Roman Reigns with a really nice shot right to the face, hitting him and knocking him off his feet, and then Shane McMahon's hands hitting the referee in the eyes by accident. Referee was temporarily blinded, couldn't see Drew McIntyre in the ring. Claymore kick to fucking Roman Reigns, and Shane McMahon picks up the victory in a very short match, less than 10 minutes. This matchup would have been great for a Monday Night Raw episode, so hey, if you want a real ratings grabber, that kind of would have been a great idea to do. And fortunately, they didn't go about that at all. They decided that this matchup, the way they presented it, was good enough for Saudi Arabia as a WrestleMania equivalent pay-per-view. Yeah, right. If this was equivalent to WrestleMania, I'm the fucking king of Jerusalem or some shit. I don't know. But this ain't no fucking equivalent to WrestleMania at all. But then again, WrestleMania the last several years has been a complete joke. So who's counting who's better than who? You know? But quite frankly, Shane McMahon picking up the victory the way he did, I like that. The match itself was not a pay-per-view type quality matchup. I give the match a 2.5 out of 5 stars because of how horrible the performance was all around. Then we come to the Lucha House Party versus Lars Sullivan. This was a fucking joke. These three guys got more hits on Lars Sullivan than you could shake a stick at. They made him bleed from his mouth. There is no reason, and I mean no reason, for Lars Sullivan bleeding from his mouth whatsoever in this matchup. He should be manhandling all three of these fuckers. And instead, they're competing against him 3-on-1. How in the fuck can you take a guy like Lars Sullivan, who is just another great character, like how Braun Strowman... Oh, wait, I forgot. You took Braun Strowman. He was really good, and you turned him into shit. Got a great opportunity to go with the momentum you had with him by him beating Brock Lesnar for the Universal title back in 2017 at No Mercy, and you failed to cash in on that. And then you make matters even worse, have him be the Money in the Bank winner, and then he can't win the fucking world title because you have him shifting from fucking face to heel, and all this nonsensical bullshit that made no sense. Real intelligent. Really fucking intelligent. Wonderful. So this matchup didn't even have an ending. It ended up being a no DQ because all three competitors were in the ring at the same time because they couldn't apparently stop him, but yet they could make him bleed from his fucking mouth. Oh man, do I feel bad for Lars Sullivan, man. This guy went from being a fucking potential badass to looking like a potential dumbass. Not to mention the dialogue they made him say. I have to give him credit. He did a very excellent job selling the lines that he had to say, but those lines he had to read were just absolutely terrible on SmackDown. I could not believe what was coming out of his mouth. But he had the same charisma, the same character-like gimmick that he's been presenting on NXT, only with really fucking weirded out, twisted lines that he would never say if he was to give his own promo. And my God, were those words and lines horrible. That's like trying to attack three mice and then ripping them open and their bodily fluids come out. Wow. Very impressive, Vince. Where'd you learn how to speak? You are the biggest load of bullshit. You know how to give someone a good promo. You've done it in the past, and you can't give them good promos because you really don't want to. You don't like your talent. You don't like anything at all about professional wrestling. You piss and you shit all over professional wrestling. You don't even have sports entertainment in your DNA anymore. Why don't you go to the XFL and stay over there and let somebody who actually cares about sports entertainment / professional wrestling leave it to the pros, for ones that actually have passion for it still, because you sure as hell does not. You do not. Does not. I'm sorry about my grammar. I'm just fucking tired as hell. I had 8 hours of fucking work to do with nonstop talking to fucking idiots on the phone. And then I got to come home after going grocery shopping, eating dinner at 8 o'clock, and I've been watching this fucking event since 12:30 in the morning. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you blame me sounding like a fucking idiot? Of course not. I just had my brain cells melted watching this bullshit. Yes, the show had some good moments, but most of it was fucking waste. Did I have an enjoyable time? Let me put it to you this way. Yes, but there was no life to this fucking show, man. It had a really good card. On paper, it has a good card, but there's nothing to it. There's no spice to it. There's no taste to it. It's bland. It's boring. It's fucking pathetic. It gives no life to the show. It's like everybody else says. There's no life to these fucking shows. They're dead. And that's what this fucking show was. Dead as a fucking corpse, like Goldberg and Undertaker were tonight. What a fucking joke, man. And Lars Sullivan, I feel so bad for this guy because he's got such great in-ring potential and talent that it's getting wasted like everything else on this roster. My God, may someone help this fucking company grow to be better than what it is right now. Because the only thing they got going for them is a fucking shitload of money coming into the company. But as morale and entertainment to the WWE audience, they are fucking not even doing their jobs correctly. They are fucking horrible. Randy Orton, Triple H, their promo package was superb. Whoever did this video package or the production team for WWE, whoever did this, did a great job. I really enjoyed it. I liked the fact they instilled the song from Legends Will Rise by Godsmack into this promo video. I really enjoyed just watching the promo video. Fuck the fucking match itself. It was great to see all the history behind Triple H and Randy Orton, between the characters that they've evolved into up to now and what they have done in the past. That shit was fun to watch. But this match itself was fucking horrendous. Outside of the ending, when all of a sudden Randy Orton just hits an RKO out of nowhere on Triple H, the rest of the match was just, whatever. You can twiddle your thumbs, jerk off, looking at a good porno video of some hot chick rubbing her pussy. I don't know. Excuse my language if you're a child. I wouldn't recommend watching the rest of this video. I don't know what the fuck. I shouldn't have said all of that. But oh well, I'm not editing that shit out. That was too funny. But seriously, you could have gone and watched a porno flick of a hot chick doing something with herself or whatever, and you would have had a good time doing that than watching this match for the last 20 minutes. Because that's how long this match went. 20 plus minutes. And it was the longest match on the entire card, and yet the match was a complete bore fest. Was it horrible? No, but it was boring. There was nothing to it. By the way, Shane McMahon and Roman Reigns, I think I said 2. Yeah, I did. I said 2.5 out of 5 stars. Lucha House Party versus Lars Sullivan was a 1 out of 5 stars. Simply because Lars Sullivan was displaying a lot of powerful moves, and he looked like a fucking beast. But having the Lucha House Party just beating his ass here and there was completely irrational and made absolutely no sense. Randy Orton and Triple H, their matchup was a 3 out of 5 stars. It was a solid match, but it was boring. That was the problem with it. There's no excitement to this matchup. If you've seen one of their matches, you've seen them all. That's pretty much the situation here. Lashley and Braun Strowman. I actually was very impressed with this match, and not because they had in-ring technician ability or they wowed me in any way, shape, or form. It was just that they brought back this old school type of powerhouse wrestling involvement between these two guys. That was really that stood out to me, and this match was better than the WWE Championship match, which is sad in itself because Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler they're really good talent, and yet they couldn't even put on a better matchup than Lashley and Braun Strowman. That's pretty fucking pathetic. Braun Strowman won this match against Lashley. I give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Pretty okay matchup. And it really showed a lot of old school elements of powerhouse wrestling and so forth. So I got to give him credit for that. But otherwise, the build up to this match was horrendous. There was nothing impressive about it. And I mean, if you didn't care to watch it, you really didn't miss anything major. But if you like the old school element of powerhouse wrestling between two gigantic, strong men, then this match would be something for you. So if you like the old school type wrestling, this is definitely something you'd want to catch on this show. The WWE title match, I had nothing to really say about this match. As I already mentioned, it was by far probably the worst match on the card. Well, no, I can't say that entirely. Well, as a main event matchup, it was the worst match on the card, but Lars Sullivan versus the Lucha House Party was the worst match. I gotta say that. But this matchup, it really was too short. It was shortened down, and it really should have been a 20-minute matchup like Randy Orton and Triple H. Triple H and Randy Orton's match should have went like 15 minutes. I think that would have been suitable for that match. That match was just way too fucking long, too boring. And if it would have been shortened down, it might have been a little bit more exciting. I think in that sense, less is more for Triple H and Randy Orton's matchup. I think that would probably work. That idea would have worked well with that match. But Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston, they didn't have enough time to even produce a really good matchup between these two guys. By 9 minutes in, fucking Xavier Woods coming out of nowhere, sneaking in a sneak attack while the referee's not looking, and hits Dolph Ziggler in the head, and then Kofi Kingston hits Trouble in Paradise and picks up the 1-2-3, and that's your matchup. There's nothing to this match. It was dead upon sight. It was fucking garbage. And the promo video, oh my god, the fucking promo video was horrible. The whole thing was about, it should have been me! It should have been me at WrestleMania! I should have been the WWE champion! Blah, 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 boo-hoo-hoo! What the fuck kind of Dolph Ziggler is this that they're presenting to the WWE audience? This is how he gets a WWE championship shot? He attacks him out of nowhere, complains it should have been him for WrestleMania, and that's your match. Wow, and now he's getting another matchup to Stomping Ground in a steel cage match. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you giving him the damn title or what? Because if you're not giving him the title, why are you having another matchup between these two? What is the fucking point of this? It is fucking pathetic. There is no reason for Dolph Ziggler being in this match. Is he signed another deal with the WWE? Has he got a couple of years more on another contract or something? I mean, this is fucking stupid. Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler in a fucking steel cage match, which more than likely Dolph Ziggler is going to lose anyway. The hell's the point in putting him in a match he's going to lose that's an important matchup anyhow? Fucking idiots. This matchup was shit. Give it a 2 out of 5 stars. 50-man battle royal. I already mentioned Mashin or Marine, whatever the fuck the guy's name is, from Saudi Arabia. He wins the 50-man battle royal because he's in his home state. Another political agenda by the by the WWE creative team. More likely by Vince McMahon himself. I mean, come on, man. This is a 50-man battle royal. Make it mean something. Title shot opportunity. They're doing promo videos, cutting backstage. I'm going to throw all 49 men over the top rope. I'm going to be the lowest survivor of this whole fucking thing. For what? What are you gaining from this? Are you getting a WWE or Universal Championship opportunity? Are you getting anything major? Are you getting an opportunity to become a main eventer at some point in your career? Like, what the fuck is the point of this damn battle royal outside it's just to fucking take up time? It was a fucking waste of everybody's time. The only thing that wasn't a waste was the Saudi Arabian people that got to see their hometown boy win that matchup in front of them. Good for them. Woohoo. We're from fucking America. We've been fighting your fucking asses forever. For the last 20 plus years, since the 1990s with the Bushes. Give me a fucking break. And then the main event, which if this match would have been 10 years ago, it would have been a fucking classic. Goldberg and Taker. I was very pleased with this matchup, most of it. And I give it a 3 out of 5 stars simply because of the fact these two men are in their 50s and they put on the kind of match they put on in front of a WWE crowd and in front of us. I have to give them credit. Despite the botch finish that they had, this match was really... It had life to it. It had They had momentum going in. Goldberg spearing fucking Undertaker right out of the gate. He tried to get a quick victory. I thought this was going to be the end. The match was going to be over. I was hoping Goldberg was going to win. Fortunately, Goldberg loses to Undertaker, and it ended in such a horrible way. And I had a lot to... I just thought to myself, look, these guys are old. You got to be understanding about that and give them a little bit of a pass. Now, granted, I don't think they should have been happy with their performance because I think that's that's really just telling them it's past their prime. They need to retire and call it a day. They've done everything they could in the WWE. They have really nobody else to face, and they're making a mockery out of themselves, continuing to do shit like this, where they're not pulling off the stunts the way they're supposed to properly and put on a very good, solid matchup that flows the correct way. This matchup was going very decently until a jackhammer that did not connect properly. The jackhammer was completely botched by Undertaker, by Goldberg, and I think it had a lot to do with the fact he couldn't hoist him all the way up properly. I think Undertaker was losing balance, and he fell backwards, and it fucked the whole thing up all from the get-go. So it made the match really come across shitty. At that point, we were coming down near the end of this match anyway, and Goldberg was trying to hit a tombstone pile driver that was meant to be reversed and flipped with Undertaker holding him in the tombstone pile driver like they normally would do back in the old days. But that didn't work out. They both slipped, and they redid the whole entire thing, the situation, and Undertaker just hits a chokeslam and picks up the 1-2-3. That was the shitty part about this match. If that part of the match did not exist, we had a straight, flowing matchup with no botches. This match would have been superb. I mean, for two guys in their 50s, I got to give them a lot of props. A big round of applause for their hard work and what they did for what age they're at this point in their careers. And I just have one thing to say. Despite the fact that your age, and you did a pretty good job for your age at this point, I think it's time for you guys to retire and call it a day. You don't have anything else more to prove. Like I just said, you guys may be old, but you sure as hell put on a fucking good match. Better than any of the fucking youngsters on that card tonight that did anything. Outside of Seth Rollins, Goldberg and Undertaker stole the fucking show, despite with the botched finish ending that they had. Fuck WWE's bullshit with this freaking Saudi Arabian government shit. It is fucking garbage. It doesn't have no super element to it. And the matches are lifeless. There's no build to these matches even. Throughout months upon months going into this pay-per-view. And it gives us nothing to look forward to. Quite frankly, I don't think one pay-per-view has anything to look forward to for any of us to go watch. We just watch it because we can get it for $9.99 a month. If we had to pay this shit on pay-per-view and we didn't have the network, I think nobody would even catch any of these pay-per-views whatsoever. I know I sure as hell wouldn't. So anyway, leave a comment down below. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to this channel. And I thank you very much for watching. Have a great night, guys.